So after your release, you make a transition to becoming a Christian rap artist, right? What was that transition like, and how do you feel the fans have responded to you making that move?
So yeah, so the crazy thing, I come out, and for 12 years, for 10 years, I'm only releasing like one song or two songs, a year. Like I'm not pursuing, I'm not doing music constantly, none of that. Just whenever I felt like, oh, let me just go do something for people can listen to it. I was doing that for 10 years, bro. I put my music to the side for 10 years because I wanted to be in the church, and I needed to learn how to be a man first, how to be a good husband, how to be a good member of the community. So I had, my wife was one that used to tell me, like, Christian, like, focus on us first before you go out and do that, because you know where that led you to. So she understood that there had to be some changes in me first. And, she didn't want me rapping about Jesus and then I'm still struggling, because she's my girl. She knows what happens, what the public doesn't see, she's dealing with. So
Right.
she's telling me, no, like, you need to be a changed man. Like, I need to know that you're real with your faith before you can go and tell people that you're a real Christian. So I took that on. And the only reason why I listened to her advice was because she was the one that was going to the prison to visit me. She got 3 jobs, and like, she based her schedule around my visits. Like, she would not miss a visit. So I said, you know what? She that's my real, ride or die right there. Like, when I come out, it can't be my voice no more. You know what I'm saying? It has to be her, because she's the one that was there when I needed people the most. So I listened to her advice and I took it, and I just grew. I grew. I took bumps in the road. I fell. I messed up. I sinned. But throughout that journey, I was around people that understood my past and understood that a lot of the things that I was doing was because of things that were still in me when I was young and through my father and things like that. So I had a good group, a community through my church and leaders and stuff like that. So I learned first how to be a Christian. And then when COVID happened, that's when I said, the whole world's on pause. The whole world is like, which is funny because I tell people this. You remember when Kobe died, the day Kobe died, how it felt?
Yeah.
It felt like the world paused. That was like 2 months before Kobe, the lockdowns. And when Kobe died, I felt like God was trying to say something. I said, man, what's going on? It feels weird. How come it just feels like the world stopped just because this guy died? And literally, the lockdowns happened right after that. And it was like God was preparing us for something. He kind of showed us a little bit of the feeling of how it was going to feel. So when COVID happened, I said, man, nobody can leave their house. A lot of rappers, knowing people, knowing how the mind is, a lot of people are just going to give up and not do nothing and panic and stuff like that. And I said, this is my opportunity. If I'm going to do music again, this is where I do it now. And I went and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it, go full force. And in 2020, I came back. Bro, I started going so hard that within a year, I was already like coming out in, Redimido's album, who's the #1 Christian artist in the world. There's nobody bigger than Redimido. And I came out with his album. And doors started opening from there, from 2020 up.
How do you think the fans have responded to you doing that change?
So a lot of my fans neglected me. They didn't like, put it to this way, friends that I was like this with when I came out, who were rappers, stopped talking to me because to them, I was supposed to come out. A rapper goes to prison and comes out to be more famous. Like, that's the opportunity. Like, people are waiting to present you with deals and stuff like that because you're the guy that just went to prison and coming out, and now you're going to go and diss everybody. So a lot of people were disappointed with the fact that I didn't come out the same way I came in. And they didn't want to listen to me. They didn't want to know nothing about me. So a lot of my fans, bro, I used to get so much, like, you hear about hate mail and tweets and stuff like that, bro. I was getting that since the day I came out of prison. On MySpace, I was getting hate mail. Like people were literally like telling me like you ruined my life. Like fans, bro, like fans, because I had. If anybody knew my music, there's a difference between you just being a rapper or being famous. There's certain people that have loyal fan base where people like breathe. They wake up and like
cult following.
They eat your music daily. Yeah, cult following, bro. Like everything. So I was that person. So to a lot of people, I turned my back on them. So they didn't want to hear me. They didn't care if I was rapping about Jesus. They didn't care if it was whatever. So fast forward to now, all this time, I didn't drop a Christian album till March. So recently.
Right.
My first Christian album. And I think I'm grateful that I did, because it took me that long to say, if I do Christian music, how am I going to do music that they are going to hear? The fans that used to listen to me. Like, I got to get them back, you know? So I did this album called Leyendas, and I did it with the mindset of I wanted it to be a Christian rap song for the streets. You know what I'm saying? And
that's definitely the vibe of the album, though. You know, it doesn't feel like really like preachy or anything, or like, you know what I mean? Like the sound of it, you still got the gritty sound. The production is just ridiculous, bro. Like it's you know,
the wordplay. I'm saying some crazy stuff on the song sometimes, but I'm using my gift to that. If I say a certain thing that sounds negative, I'm tying it to something that's godly. You just have to, again, you have to be a student of hip hop to understand the language. So in reading the Bible, I understood that Jesus himself will speak in parables, and he would tell his disciples sometimes, like, I'm only saying this way so you can understand me. I don't want the crowd to understand me. So he spoke in a way that only certain people will understand exactly what he was saying. So I told myself I have to be that way in hip hop. I'm going to get a lot of people that are going to criticize me for it, a lot of church people. But at the end of the day, this is what Jesus used to do too. That's why he said with the sinners, you know, that's how he communicated the way he communicated.
I think that people don't understand that if your intention is to help lead people out of like a certain lifestyle or their world, you have to be able to enter into their world in order to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And they're not going to respect if you just came there with like butterflies and like you know what I mean? Like that kind of like style and stuff like that.
Just with the suit and tie.
Right, exactly. You know, like, so you have to be able to be somebody that they resonate with, just like the same way the people that discipled you, right? You were able to resonate with where they came from, and they were able to reach you with their word. You respected their word even more because you knew where they came from.
Yeah, and they're not putting on a costume. Like just you know what I'm saying? Like if I show up to the hood in a tie and a suit, which I don't, you know, whoever does it, okay for them, you know, God calls people to do certain things. But me, it's like I'm just putting on a costume. Like this is still me. It's the inside that changed. It's not the outside. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was putting on the suit in the beginning, I was messing up, and then looking in the mirror like, man, I got this Halloween costume on, but I'm still messing up. You know what I'm saying? And that's why even with religious things, you know, out of topic, Halloween, for example, a lot of Christians don't like it. They talk so bad about it, but it's like, how many costumes do Christians put on every day? Because every day we're doing something. Every day we're lying about something. Every day we're putting on a mask. What is it? You know what I'm saying? You choose. So that's what I always tell people. And again, I credit it to those prisoners, because they show me that when Jesus called the Apostle Paul to be the one that wrote a third of the New Testament, that was the guy that was killing the Christians before that. He was the one persecuting them. Right? So I look at my life and I say, man, I used to diss all the rappers. I'm the one that used to kill them in the tracks, right? But I'm exactly who God wants to go back and speak to them about him. and I don't have to be fake. I don't have to put on a costume for that. I just speak of what he did for me and how my life changed.
I think that that's great that what you said too, that you keep it real about the fact is that a lot of times we do lie to ourselves, right? Just because we're a part of something like religion or something, people automatically assume, oh, that makes me a good person. But that's not the truth though, because there's a lot of ways that people, I mean, we see with social media these days, you see videos of people going off on people all the time and you know what I mean? Like that could be someone that is from the church or something, right? That
Yeah.
lives a holy life or something,
Yeah.
But it's like it's really you should judge it by how are you really being in your actual life on an everyday basis? Are you treating people with kindness? Are you really living what is being preached to you? Or you know what I mean? Or are you just
Yeah.
trying to justify things? So I commend you for keeping it real and saying that because I think a lot of times people won't be honest about that.
Yeah, and it's really hard because one of the things that has allowed me to change is accountability, and that's a thing. A lot of Christians become Christians and so radical they don't want to be a part of a church, and it's understandable because you go to the church and you find out quick that nobody's perfect. Like there's a lot of people are a mess in there, and some people are putting on a mask. They're smiling one day, but a dude smiling in your face, but he's beating up his wife at home. So I learned that accountability is needed for anybody to change. And for me, and put the Christianity aside. You know, having guys around you like me, like when I go to, let's say I'm in Rhode Island, if I go to New York to do a video shoot, right? I know myself. I know my old me, right? I know myself. I know that when I'm away from my wife, if I go to another state and I meet a girl, most likely the flesh that's in here, somehow our door's gonna open, and there's a chance that I'm gonna end up messing up because I know me. I know who I used to be. I know where my thoughts go. Even as a Christian, I have thoughts. So I find myself when I travel, when I go to these places, I'll bring my brother-in-law, I'll bring guys from the church. I'm like, guys, I got a music video in New York for a day. You guys need to go with me. While you're with me, I don't care if I tell you, hey, I'll be back. I got to go see somebody else here, whatever. Don't let me. Don't let me. Because as soon as I tell you that, I might be in trouble. I might be doing something I'm not supposed to. So make sure you guys hold me accountable. And I say that to say that there was people in the industry that weren't Christians that were doing that back then. Because I used to listen to stories of Daddy Yankee doing stuff like that. Like he wouldn't take girls back to the hotel room because he knew that it took one girl to go to court, to go to the police and say he raped me or one of his boys did this to me. So he even knew that hanging out with the wrong guys was bad, and letting people come into his space or into his private life was a bad idea for his marriage. You know what I'm saying? So there was people that were doing that even in the world. You know what I'm saying? So accountability is a huge part. Whether you want to change your life, without Christianity or you're in Christianity, accountability is something that you need everywhere. I think for any company to be successful or any place to be successful, you need accountability. You need people that are there, that are going to hold you accountable. So that when they see you kind of like moving to the left too much, they're telling you, hey, you're getting out of line. You need to come back this way. We need to refocus. We need to change this. You can't be alone in a room with this girl having a conversation, even if you've known her for 15 years. Like, protect your marriage. So that's the kind of things that I've learned that have helped me a lot.
Right.